because then I get word, I pull a kid in, hey, you're having a problem with this class. What do we need to do? And I give them the resources or whatever they need, to succeed in that class. Because without an education, basketball is going to end one day, and how many kids make it to the league? They all think they're going to make it to the league, and they invest in all that. But the education piece is where that's one of the big things that I've been pushing ever since I've been here. Like, you get that education, nobody can ever take that's with you the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And that's going to set you up for the future.
Just touched out, back on road, counting money, man, you know how it goes. Hit the VIP and tell my strike a pose. Hop in mode, just touched down, back on road, counting money, man, you know how it goes. Hit the VIP and tell my to strike a pose. Hop in mode.
Today's episode of the Barcode Podcast 414 is sponsored by Tony B's Steak Chips, beef jerky that crunches like a chip and tastes like a 5-star steak. Use promo code The Barcode for 25% off at eatsteakchips.com.
Yo. You already know. Coming to the Barcode Podcast. Man, one coaching staff, man. He was on the coaching staff at Milwaukee Vincent, man. He helped out, man. This man means so much to me. Like, y'all just don't understand. He's a wonderful guy. He's the current head coach right now for West Allis Central High School. Man, y'all got to give it up for y'all very own Coach Mlachnik. How you doing, man?
Good, Q. How you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing good, Coach, man. Look, I got the smile on my face. I'm interviewing, a great mentor, great coach. Yeah, I'm feeling good, Coach.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. It's always good to catch up with you guys, man.
Yeah, for sure. Now, Coach, before we get into it, though, I just want to ask you a couple of true, false questions.
All right. Don't
the
make
first one is, yeah, for sure. The first one is, a camel has 3 sets of eyelashes.
It doesn't seem right, so I'm going to say true.
It's true, man. Dude, it's so crazy when I ask people that question. They like, it don't seem right. So, yeah, I'm going to just say true. But, yeah, camels got 3 sets of eyelashes. I think that's crazy.
It's crazy. No, that is.
Yeah, whatever. So, next one. Shaquille O'Neal fell out of a tree, broke his arm because he was trying to imitate Spider-Man.
I'd have to say false on that, man. I couldn't see him climbing up a tree, man.
No, Shaq was silly, man. But
yeah,
it's true.
Is it?
He climbed up a tree. I don't know if it was in his younger ages or what. I'm hoping that it wasn't when he was 7 feet. So
that's what I was thinking, man. I could actually see him doing that when he was down in Orlando.
Yeah, exactly. I can see it with Orlando, dog. All right, so last one, Coach. In 2005, Milwaukee Vincent won the state title.
I would love to say true, man, but that is false, man. I would love to say true. We had a few opportunities there, man.
Yeah, that is correct. It's false, and Coach was there, so he know it, man.
Yeah, those ones hurt, man. There's some games I go back to, through all the coaching careers that you go back to, and you wish you could have back.
Yeah.
And we had a couple of them there at Vincent. 5 and 7 were the 2 that stand out to me.
Yeah, man. Oh, man, but it was great times, though.
Hell yeah. Great kids. Yeah, you guys, it was awesome to be a part of that.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you, Coach, participating in that. Now let's get into it. Now, I want to know a little bit about your upbringing, like where you from, and did you get a chance to play basketball growing up?
Yeah,
and if so, who influenced you?
I mean, basketball is a part of my life ever since an early age, man. I started, my dad and my brothers, dad put up a hoop in the house outside, and we just played all the time. Biggest influence, my role model, obviously, my dad is a big part, but my oldest brother, Dwayne, I always looked up to him. He played over at St. John's with like Ronnie Williams down in Florida, all-time leading scorer, Dwayne Johnson, all these guys. And they're like ranked in the nation and all that. And so going to those games when I was in like 6th, 7th, 8th grade, just watching them, and it was always a passion for me to go play at the highest level I could. And then just watching the NBA, watching college games, just picking up things from all those guys. And it's just a grind. And I ended up playing, through college, went to JUCO down in Florida for a year, played at Rice University for a couple of years, and I could shoot it, but
Yeah.
yeah, no, but basketball's been a part of my life since I can say 2 years old.
Man, that's dope, man. And coach, I know it's 2023. Am I pronouncing your name correctly? Like Coach Mlachnik?
Yep, no, that's correct, man. You got it down.
Yeah. And I know
Not
that
not too many people can do that, man.
yeah, exactly. Oh Lord. Like once upon a time, I think I just had you saved as like Coach M. Like,
Yep. But funny thing, now here at Central, it's just Coach. They just call me Coach here now. So yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I know you, and I know you. Don't you have a brother on your coaching staff right now? Or
My nephew and my son.
and that's DJ, correct?
No, DJ's out at St. John's. So my nephew Cheeto, who played college ball. Yeah, but we got a bunch. My brother's coaching out at St. John's with him, and then my son was coaching at a JUCO last year.
Okay.
And he came back and is helping me out this year. So
Yeah. And I asked that because I know the family is pretty big, and I'm pretty sure that all of you guys are like just y'all love basketball, y'all played it, coached it, all that type of stuff. So, man, that's dope because I told you I met DJ in the league, and I'm like, oh wow, this
that's
kid.
right, yeah.
And then I found out his last name, and I'm like, hey, is that your
Hey, wait a second.
like that your uncle or something? He's like,
Yeah.
yeah. Now, so you got all this experience with basketball, going JUCO, watching NBA, all that. What influenced you, or when did coaching start for you? Right after college, or what?
No, man. I just love the game. I love playing. And the best advice I ever got was play the game until you're done. You can coach the rest of your life, but the playing days will be gone. Like, and so I played probably up until I started coaching at Vincent. I got into teaching. So my kids, I got married young at 22. We have 4 kids, and so we're raising the kids. And I decided to get into teaching when they were probably, we have 4. They were like 8, 6, 5, and 3. We had them all right in a row. And my oldest daughter started getting into basketball. And I was like, okay, I got to coach her team. And that's right after that, I started coaching at Vincent. And that's when I still played a little bit, but I had to give that up. And it was a good time because my knees were going, my back, and it just took a toll. And coaching was the best thing for me. So like I said, the best advice I ever got from anybody was play as long as you can. Coaching will always be there. And for me, it was the best thing because I think at an older age, I had more patience and understanding, and so if I would have started young, I probably would have been frustrated at kids, a lot more. But this allowed me with the patience and time to get into it. So, and it allowed me, like I said, the game of basketball is my favorite thing, and I love being around the game. I love watching. I love talking it, and it still gives you that competitive spirit. Sometimes I think I'm more competitive than the kids playing right now.
That's how I be too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you walk into Vincent and this is like your first go around as far as like coaching, like how was that experience being on the staff with Tom Diener, a Hall of Fame coach, and you got John Allen and Rick Polk, and you got a lot of talented players around you. How was that experience for you going into Vincent?
I didn't know anything else, and so it was like being in college. You know what I mean? Like with Coach Diener, learning from him, and then just the talent that was there. like, I was like, okay, this is how high school basketball is, and to me, it was like there was pressure, because just of the dominance that Vincent had and Tom had built that program up, and just learning from those guys. And so go back, me and John Allen played basketball. That's how I got to Vincent. And so me and him, after college, we played together in some leagues and stuff, and became friends. And then when I got into teaching, I was like, okay, I want to go to a basketball program. And I was like, I called John, and he's like, yeah, they got me into Vincent. And then I talked to Tom, and he got me involved. And like I said, I just soak things up, man. And for me, as a player and coach, like, you got to learn from everybody. And so I would just watch him during games, listen to him, watch practices, and just that environment, and just how he handled you guys, the talent, and put you guys in position to compete and win off-season stuff. Like I said, it was a great experience. I'm glad I started there, and it led me here to Central, and it just has grown since.
And dude, listen, coach, I tell you this all the time. Every time I talk to you, I'm so glad. Like, when people say it's bigger than basketball, it really is.
No?
Like, the people that I met just, playing basketball, and especially at Vincent, you, Brad Bester, the Pareens, like, the relationship I had with James Wright and Jose, like, that's what it's about to me. I still know you guys after the ball have stopped for me, and you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So yes, I'm so happy that you came to Vincent, man, and you experienced that at Vincent, and you get the chance to coach at West Allis Central. Like, how was that phone call for you? Would you did you apply, or
It
how
was
did all that
crazy,
come
man.
about?
That process was crazy. So it's a weird thing. And I always say, man, things happen for a reason. So I wanted to stay at Vincent so bad. But me and my wife ended up moving out to Muskego. And so I had to get a different job. And you remember Jeff Taylor,
Jeff
assistant
Taylor.
principal?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he came to West Dallas and was a principal here in the district. And he's like, Dave, and so I called him right away, and they got me in here as a teacher. My first 2 years here, I didn't coach here. I went over to Muskego, and I was going to coach with my brother. My brother was a head coach out there, and so we were going to coach together on varsity. And I ended up doing freshman there for 2 years, and I knew I wanted my own program. So really interesting thing. I applied for my brother ended up taking the St. John's job. So I applied at Muskego, didn't get it. Applied at Franklin, didn't get it. So now I'm getting kind of pissed, man. Because I know I can coach, and it's like, okay, and so the AD here is like the girls coach is leaving. And so he's like, hey, you should take the girls, get some experience, because that's one of the big things. They're like, oh, you don't have experience. And I'm like, well, I was at Vincent for 4 years, man. Like, that should be good enough experience right there. And didn't get either job. So I decided to take the girls' job. And when I walked in, I mean, I had some talent, Maren Crocker, who played up at Green Bay, probably one of the best players that ever came out of there. She's still playing overseas. Janie Miles, Lauren Hibbard, Claire Hankins, like all 3 girls that won D1, 1 girl that won D2. So did that for 2 years. And it was probably the toughest decision I made. Lou Chapman was here coaching before me.
Okay.
And he was getting away, and he's like, Dave, you got to take this program. And I was like, I got these girls. I got Maren Crocker is going to be a senior. I got to stay with her. And my son was going to be a freshman. And we were looking at some schools where to go, and I wanted him to come here and play for Lou. And it took me about 3 weeks to make that decision. And I was going back and forth, and my wife said, she's been a huge influence on me, but she's like, I go, what do I do? And she's like, you have an opportunity to coach your son, and I was like, all right, you're right. And so I went in, told AD, I was like, I want to apply for this, go for it. They gave it to me. And, that first year coaching here with the boys,
Mm.
I mean, it reminded me of Vincent. Like we had Nigel Young, Darvell Brown, Tony Collier, Jarvis Garrett, Brandon Key, all guys that went and played.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit, it's gonna be like this all the time. You always have players. And you know, again, that year we lost to King in the sectionals, and probably one of the best games, being a part of, outside of Vincent. And it was just great environment here, and one of the better high school games. As far as being a head coach, for
Mm.
me, it was one of the better games. And then all of a sudden, Jarvis ended going prep school, and we kind of suffered the next year. We didn't have that talent. And then 2015 was the first year that we went to state for the first time since 1947 here at West.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And it
Cold.
was, and we've just been building program up ever since, But like
Mhm.
I said, I walked into a great situation with great players. Lou Chapman did a great job with the guys, and it's built since then. And then the coaching staff, the guys that I've brought in, Yusuf is here coaching this year,
Mhm.
so coaching him at, being that part of the program over at Vincent with him and and having him play. And then I'm trying to think, Ken Ward,
Oh yeah.
Darvell Brown, who played for me, my son, and then DJ, a guy that does a lot of AAU stuff. Like I said, it's just a great staff, and it's so much fun, man.
Yeah. I already know coaching is fun. And I want to thank you too, coach. You remember you gave me the opportunity to coach you guys in summer league. And
Yes.
when I coached them, I didn't know who Brandon Key was at the time,
Yep.
and everybody else on that team. So when I was coaching them, and I was very surprised that you guys, fell short, going up or you may making that run or whatever.
Yeah.
But when I was coaching them, I said, oh, these guys listen. They play hard, like ain't nothing like a coachable kid,
Yep. 100%.
Yeah, so you did something special, man. But how was that conversation with the girls team before transitioning to the head coach? Like, did you get a lot of girls crying or mad?
They were mad. Yeah, they were mad. They didn't talk to me for a while. They still give me crap about it. Yeah, and that's the one beautiful thing. You talk about like coaching is more than just basketball. Like,
Mm,
these girls, they come back, talk to them, but they will say, hey, they were mad at me, because and like I said, it was probably the toughest decision I ever made. It really was.
yeah. But no, you turned the program around. Now, as far as now, we all know the good things that can happen with coaching, but how did you overcome the hard times when it came to coaching?
Reaching out, man. Reaching out to other coaches. Yeah, a buddy of mine that I played with down at Rice, he's junior college coach out in California, Mike Girardi. I would call him, and just touch base with him. Hey, have you gone through this? Kids are doing this. I would talk to Tom, and just reach out to guys. My brother coached with me the first 5 years here, I think, before he took the St. John's job. So, he left Muskego. And then when I got the job here, he came over with the boys with me. And you have your friend, your circle of trust that you call and communicate with, because I'll be straight up, I don't have all the answers, you know what I mean? And reaching out to former players, Nigel and Darvell would always come back after 12, and having those guys talk to the kids, and to me, you know what it's like, man. You get into basketball, it's a circle,
Yeah.
And you rely on those people. You rely on the experience of others, that have gone through stuff. Because
Yeah.
I haven't gone through stuff that some of these kids have, and so it's just reaching out and trying to understand where they're coming from.
Yeah, for sure, man. And I just want to make sure I'm saying this the right way, because I know that, see, I'm an inner city kid, Black kid.
Yep.
I felt like I can come talk to you Rick Pope, John Allen. But I didn't feel like I can go talk to Diener because I don't think he understood. And with you having inner city kids and coming from different backgrounds and going through stuff, Coach, do they come more to you and talk to you about that situation, or is it more so like the assistant coaches? And if they do come to you, like how do them conversations be like, Coach?
No, they've throughout the years they've come to me. I've had a lot of different situations, and for me, my door is open. You know, I, I want to be, and I don't want to say their friend, but I want to be there for them. I want to be
Yeah.
like a dad to them. That's my first thing. Coaching is secondary. It really is. And for me, because my experience, everything that I went through basketball, and obviously I didn't grow up in the city, grew up in the suburbs. But the one thing is that my dad always did was he would take us and we would go play and with anybody and everybody,
Yeah,
because he wanted us to play against the best. So
Yeah.
we got into the warning league. When I was in 5th grade, I was going down playing in the warning league, and I did that all the way through high school, college. And so I had friends growing up. They stayed at my house. My brother had friends, from New York, and they would come and stay at the house for when they're out at St. John's. They'd stay for the weekend, and you learn to grow that everybody's different. Well, everybody's the same,
Yeah.
but everybody's going through different situations. And so for me, like to me, that's probably one of the most special things of coaching is having the players being comfortable enough to come and talk to me. And the thing is, as a freshman, when they come in, like they don't know me yet.
Yeah.
So they don't feel comfortable. But, as I talk to them, open up, share things, and they see, I hope they see that I'm real and
Yeah.
they can come and share it. And like I said, I had situations where kids come in and they share stuff about their family life. Girlfriends, whatever it is. And I had some guys come in and actually cry in my office, and we sat there and just hugged it out, or try to give them advice on what to do, help them through the situations they're going through.
Mhm.
So it's just all different situations like that.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm glad you shared that for real, Coach, because now that I'm older now, and when I look back at things, like I feel like that's so important. When you are coaching these student athletes, we go through a lot of stuff off the floor. And you was on that staff, and I'm still have a relationship with all these guys, Billy, Javon, and we talk about that. Like, what you thought, what y'all think it was? And they all said we didn't have a relationship with Diener. And I believe in having a relationship with the coach on and off the court.
Yep.
We just had a relationship. It felt like a job to us,
Yep.
back then. And we were kids, and we didn't understand it at the time. So I always wanted to know that, because I know that you a wonderful man, great coach. I know it's bigger than basketball with you. So I want to ask you, like especially with you being Caucasian, like how do you handle when an inner city kid going through some real life shit? You know what I'm saying? Like, how did you handle that? So thank you for sharing that too. So
Well, and the other thing is sometimes just like not having the network to reach out to get help. You know what I mean? And so I think that's another thing where, the network of people I shared, whether I take a look at 2012, Nigel, knee is hurting. And so you know, there's a chiropractor in my family, and I'd be like, hey, Nigel, you got to go see this guy. And he would adjust them. And he worked with professional and college athletes, worked for Marquette wrestling team and Olympic teams, and adjusting the body and get him ready. Nigel went to him, and Nigel still will go to him. Maren Crocker did the same thing. She had traveled back from Green Bay day before a game to get adjusted to go back up. But those are all networks of helping kids, and whether it's another situation of reaching out to, if they get in trouble, it's like, okay, what steps do we take? And just working through that process with them, and like I said, man, everybody goes through stuff. We all do, and it's, who do you have to reach out to help?
Yeah, exactly.
And for me, it starts like in school. And so ever since I've been teaching here at West Ellis, I reach out to the other teachers and let them know, hey, if any of the players are having problems, please let me know. Because then I get word, I pull a kid in, hey, you're having a problem with this class, what do we need to do? And I give them the resources or whatever they need, to succeed in that class. Because without an education, basketball is going to end one day.
Yeah.
And how many kids make it to the league? They all think they're going to make it to the league, and they invest in all that. But the education piece is where that's one of the big things that I've been pushing ever since I've been here. Like, you get that education, nobody can ever take that's with you the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And that's going to set you up for the future. One knee injury, one whatever it is, can end your career. You never know when your playing days are in, but that education will never be taken away from you.
Yeah, coach. Woo, man. That
No,
education is something serious. And
yeah,
when I coach my AAU kids, out here in Arizona, that's the first thing, I tell them like, no, y'all should be student athletes. Y'all
yep,
shouldn't be no hooper or no basketball player. Like, and I tell them the experiences, even mines or, stories I have heard, like, bro, get that education, man. Cause once that
yep,
ball stop, man, you got something to lean on. Like, I even be talking about trades, like get into a
yeah.
trade. I think plumbers and electricians, they all gonna be around shit, forever. Like, hopefully, you know what I'm saying? Because the world is evolving.
Yep.
Man. Yeah, yeah. Now, coach, now you have coached for a long time and you played against different talent. What was the toughest player you had to coach against?
Oh snap, man.
Where you had to keep calling them timeouts like, fuck, we got to triple him or double him and let's do this zone.
I the one that pops up. I mean, there's a lot of great players, and so it's really hard to say. I mean, we played against JP Tokoro. Now a head coach or assistant?
Head
Head
coach.
coach.
Head coach.
Yeah. Well, we played against Enrique when she was at DSHA. She is younger though, so she was like a freshman, I think, when I coached against her. So I'm glad I didn't have to see her when she was a senior. But JP, but the biggest one that jumps out to me, and probably my favorite memory, is Looney. And we faced him twice. In the first year is both times in the playoffs, and in 2014, no, 2013. We played him his junior year, and at halftime is a game, and is against Diener. Diener is coaching there at that time, and we had a game plan, and he made his adjustment, and Looney killed us in the second half. We fouled him, put him to the line like 24 times, and our biggest guy was only like 6'3", and so the next year. And I had a game plan, like if we're gonna play him next year, because I figured we face him again in the playoffs, and we did for the regional final. And I said, hey, we do not foul him, and again, we were small with Brandon Key, who played at South Dakota State, and we're 19-3 regular season, and end up facing them. And I said, we do not foul. If he gets it inside, let him score, get that ball out, and we're pushing it. We're going to make him run up and down, and just we're going to try to tire him out. And so we didn't double him. We said pick him up full court. So we had Brandon, we had another 6-foot guard picking him up full and just trying to wear him down. And we got up. Well, Diener wasn't coaching at the time, so I didn't have to worry, about his adjustments at halftime. But like you couldn't stop him. And so we're up like 17 in the third, and we're ready to put this thing away. And all of a sudden they start making a run. And, they end up taking a lead with 2 minutes to go. And I was taking 3-4 timeouts in the fourth quarter, right, one after another. And guys come to the bench, and you could just see them freaking out, because they know they're letting the game slip away. And I'm like, and finally, Brandon Key, with about 2 minutes to go, finally locked eyes with me. And I'm like, Brandon, you got to keep pushing. Jaquan Martin, you just run the middle of the floor, and all of a sudden, boom, Brandon kind of settled everything down. Boom, got us a couple easy layups. We took the lead back. And Looney, man, wound up with 47 for the game, Q. And one of my prides is defense of like limiting the leading score. And this game, I knew like, hey, I'm gonna let him go, and we let him go, and it almost bit us, man, because he comes down, and we're like, I'm like, okay, Brandon, you got to pick him up full. There's like 5 seconds left or whatever. He picked him up, man. Looney came down. He spun him a couple times. Ended up taking a shot for a 3. Hits the back rim, goes up above, ends up going through the net, but it was after the buzzer. So he didn't get the shot off in time. And we ended up winning the game. Yeah. So it's probably one of my favorite moments because, like, to me, Looney's probably one of the classiest guys, too, that I've ever played against. Here's a man that's going to UCLA, got everything in front of him. Mm-hmm. And that game was so important to him. He went through the line, shaking everybody's hand. Hey, congrats, coach. Good job. And to me, like, I have the utmost respect for that man, and that's why he's so successful in the league right now.
Yeah, such a great kid, young kid, man. Young man for real.
But the other one, Deontay Burton was probably one of the toughest matchups. We played them in the playoffs, when he was at Vincent, and he was going off on us, and I was putting Nigel and Darvell on him, and, and Jarvis Garrett, who played at Rhode Island, was only 5'11", but they played together on the same AU team. Jarvis all of a sudden guarding him one time. I'm like, no, switch. Jarvis came over on a dead ball free throw situation. He goes, I'm like, no, I want Darvell on him. And Jarvis like, coach, I got him. And I was like, all right, go ahead, man. And he changed the game, because it's not like he shut him down, but, Deontay tried to take him into the post, and Jarvis did a great job of bumping him out. But there's so many great players that you play against. It's really hard to pick one. Like I said, for me, it's Looney because he just did all the right things and how he handled himself after the game, and just he's a professional. He was back as a teenager and still is today.
Yeah, exactly. No, man, Looney's wonderful. And like, how was it for you? That year that Diener was there. You being on the coaching staff. How was it like coaching against Diener though? Because you almost got like the cheat sheet a little bit, right?
Yeah, no, and it was a dream,
and shit, coach.
Because hey, for me, it's competition, right?
Yeah.
And you look at Tom Diener, Jimmy Goss, like to me, Joe Clausen, like those are the elite coaches, and for me, I always say, man, whether I'm playing, I want to be the best, whether I'm coaching, I want to be the best. And so when you get to go up against the best, that's a challenge, and so you always put yourself in that situation. I guess I really never thought of it, but it's like, okay, it's game on. I got to be prepared, got to have my guys prepared, and what they're doing, now can you execute?
Yeah, exactly.
you can give the kids all the info you want, but are they going to go out and execute it? And at the end of the day with coaching, and I tell my coaching staff all the time, I want your ideas. Give me your ideas, because I need to be able to change. But at the end of the day, I got to make that final decision.
Yeah.
And I tell the players this too, man. Like, hey, please just, do what we're asking you to do. And if we lose because you go out there and I had the wrong game plan, that's on me. You know what I mean? But if you're not gonna believe in the game plan, you're not gonna execute it, then I'm gonna blame it on you. You know what I mean? And actually, it's everybody, because like I said, did I prepare the guys enough? And that's how, like Tom, I knew his guys were always going to be prepared. They're going to be tough-minded, tough defense, execute, and so you got to be prepared. And so to me, it's always exciting to go against those coaches,
Yeah, that's dope, cuz. That's actually dope, man. But I do want to ask you this though. Because you've been around for a long time and you've seen different talent, coach. You've seen how the game has been played and all. So I had to actually write this one down, coach. How did you adjust to coaching since the game of basketball evolved?
I'm still adjusting. Guys come back, and they're like, Coach, you're getting soft. Because you can't get on the kids like you could. When I was at Vincent, think about how Diener got on you guys. You know what I mean? And then even in 12, I was able to get on those guys, and they responded. Nowadays you get on kids and they go into a shell. So, and to me, there are still kids that you can get on. And so it's really learning the individual that you're coaching. And it's really a trial and error, and it's having that open communication, because some of these freshmen, like last night, I got on one of my freshmen pretty hard, during the game. I took him out, I was like, you're not playing hard right now. If you're not going to play hard, you're going to sit here, and after the game, I went up to him and I was like, hey, you all right? And I got on you pretty tough, man. And he's like, no, I'm good, coach. And I go, well, I just want to make sure, are you good with me getting on you like that? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, all right. And so to me, it's that communication of, I'm getting on you during the game because I don't think you're playing hard. I'm not going to get on you for missing a shot. I'm not going to get on you for turning it over. I'm not going to get on. It's the mental part that I'll get mad. If you're not ready to play, if you're not executing a play that we've been practicing, if you're not getting back in transition, not boxing out, all those little things, then I'm going to get upset and get on you. But if you're trying and working hard, man, I can't yell at you. If you miss a shot, I can't. If you turn it over, I can't yell at you. You know what I mean? Now, if it's the same mistake that you're making game in, game out, okay, that's a different story.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I tell the kids all the time, man, the only thing I ask out of you every game, go play hard. All right. And if you play hard and execute, at the end of the game, I can't guarantee a win. I don't know if that shot's going to go in or not. All right. Now, I want you to play hard. And if we make mistakes, especially with a young team that we have with 5 freshmen this year, I just want you to play hard. And if we make mistakes, that's my job the next day in practice, that we clean that up and we get better each day. Yeah. And so I think having that communication with these kids, and getting them to understand that it isn't just you that I'm getting on. It's a learning curve. All right. The other big change, Q, though, is the way the game is played.
Yes.
We're trying. My big thing also is getting these kids ready for college.
Yes.
I've had assistant coaches say, hey, we got to run this offense. And I'm like, nobody runs that anymore. You know what I mean? Like,
you ain't talking about the swing offense, is he?
Yeah, no, seriously.
No.
Yeah. No, and it's like, I want to prepare these kids for college. So we gotta, and that's why I bring it in like Yusuf and Darvell, that are training these kids during the summer and all that. They're in the game and they know the adjustments. So that's where I'm adjusting and learning. Like, even defensively, I'm changing things up now. It can't be the same defense. There's little adjustments that we have to make. And so, and then it all comes down to the team you have.
Yeah.
Coaches say, like, why don't we run the same offense every year? And I'm like, because we have different kids.
Yeah.
The offense I had last year ain't going to work with these kids, or the defense we ran last year ain't going to work. We got to get up and press, or I don't know. And so it's just keeping an open mind.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's funny, Coach. Somebody just asked me. Granted, it was about the NBA. And, people had asked me about high school basketball, and man, I'm not gonna lie. When they asked me about the NBA, I'm like, man, I feel like it's piss poor. Like, you got guys talking on the court with each other, like they playing against each other.
They're friends.
helping them up and letting guys score 71. Well, I don't know if I'm just gonna say letting, but
No,
but people don't take pride. And I come from an era where we take pride in our defense. And it's like, okay, yeah, you my guy, but we on the court now. So we're gonna talk shit. We about to get it in, compete. Then we can go to a pizza place afterwards and talk about the game and stuff. You know, I feel like, it's crazy. And then this, coach, the fast break threes, how you feel about that? Oh my God.
I wish I was playing now. Hey, Q, I gotta tell you a story, man. So I was at Rice for 2 years and play, and I ended up transferring my senior year up to Eau Claire.
Okay.
And I wanted to go to Platteville where Bo Ryan was. And so, Bo's like, Dave, you're going to be a senior. You're going to be a captain at Rice. You're getting 15, 20 minutes a game. You're first guy off the bench, all this. And it's all, like, why did I leave? I got a scholarship. I didn't have to pay for anything. It's like stupid. But, I'm like, nah, man, I should be playing 30 minutes a game. You get in your own ego, and I'm like, no, I'm transferring, and Bo's like, stay there, like, and so I'm like, okay, I'm calling Kenny Anderson up at Eau Claire, and Kenny's like, yeah, come on up, and I get up there first practice, man. I come down, pull up three on a fast break. My point guards never take a three, or not in transition. You only shoot with 5 seconds left on the shot clock. And I was like, hold on, man. You told me I could come up here and shoot, So it was like I said, it was a different day and age. But to me, now, I had a kid last year, Grayson Pritzel, who's out at Air Force right now. Now, this kid could flat out shoot it. Now, if he did it, I probably wouldn't mind. And I'm serious. Like, if you can shoot it, I don't mind. But I think there's so many people shooting it that shouldn't be shooting it. You know what I mean? And it's like, that's where I think we've gotten away from playing. They're watching Steph Curry and they're watching, elite players. And they see all these. I love social media, I do, but I think it's ruining. I shouldn't say ruining the game. It's changing the game dramatically.
Yeah,
because they see these highlights, and so kids want to emulate that, man. So they're sitting there coming down thinking they're Steph and pulling up, and they're like, no, man, you're shooting 25% from three, man.
Yeah,
get to the rim,
Yeah, exactly.
And so it's making that simple play, but they want to make that highlight play so they can get it out on social media so people can be like, oh, you see that, and so when you talk about the pride thing, Yusuf brought that up the other week, last week, like, you guys got to take pride in defense, like, and it's so true, because and to me, it's take pride in competing. Kids don't want to compete anymore, man. They just they want the stat line. They want, because win or lose, it's not, hey, West Dallas Central won in the paper, like how it used to be.
Yeah.
It's social media. I had, 25 and, 10 and 6, you know what I mean? And it's like, no, it's about, did you win and did you have the stat line?
Exactly.
And that's the one thing we've been trying to preach here to the kids, and trying to get them to understand. It doesn't matter how many you score. Do we win the game? Does the name on the front of your jersey win the game? There's no names on the back right now. You're in high school, So it's hard, man. It's changed, and like I said, as coaches, I'm learning every day. I learn from these kids every day. And just like hopefully they're learning from me. It's a combination.
Yeah. And I'm glad that you brought up, the group that you're working with now. Everyone who's tuned in right now, like I said, is the current head coach for West Allis Central High School, and you have a young core right now.
Yeah.
Which I believe 5 freshmen.
Yep.
About a couple sophomore, couple juniors, about 1 or 2 seniors.
Yep.
So I always say it's a rebuilding year. What do you call it, Coach? An experience year? Because you got a young group, and the most important thing is keeping them together, and you got a good core. So what, with them being so young on varsity, what are you and the other coaching staff doing to just really,
It's coaching like my philosophy every year is, and I look at these freshmen, they're playing right now. You know what I mean? And they're playing a lot of minutes. And it's I never look at rebuilding. I really don't.
Okay.
And especially with the talent that, some of these guys, that we have. Right now it's just trying to get them up to speed. And so just like every year, last year's team, we had all seniors, and we had 12 seniors on the team. And to me, we want to be playing our best basketball come March. And then find out where we're at. And so I don't look at it as rebuilding. Like we have more teaching going on this year, because big thing beginning of year was trying to get them to understand, because 8th grade, they never had to practice that hard, and practice every day. Might play for a grade school team, practice 2-3 times a week, play one game, and then AAU is practicing a couple times a week, and then playing 6 games, and understanding the importance of a Tuesday and Friday night game. Like that is just one game, and in the beginning of the year, we had 1 game a week. You didn't have 2 games. So if you played Friday, you might not play until the next Friday. And so, and learning to come to practice, like practices are tough. And we didn't practice hard in the beginning of the year. Our practices were up and down. Kids didn't know that they had to, running, like you had to go hard every day. And so it's more, this year is teaching and learning. That's the way I'm looking at it. But at the end of the day, when you talk about rebuild, that's saying that you don't have a chance at the end of the year. Okay. And I totally disagree with that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. I think if we can get these guys to a certain point, I do believe we can compete come playoff time, and we're starting to do that right now. Like I said, last night we're down, 17 in the first half, playing selfish, not playing any D. And all of a sudden, brought a few kids off the bench, stepped in, they're ready to go. And all of a sudden they're playing D, getting after it, cut the lead by half to 10, and then come out in the second half. And like I said, everybody responded. Everybody, stepped in the game. The bench was there. And that's a beautiful thing that I like is, these 5 freshmen came in with a lot of, the word was out in the school. Everybody, and then, you get that jealousy with some seniors, juniors, like, oh man. Some seniors and juniors trying to, like, oh man, they're going to take my playing time. And it's like, no, it's about competing for playing time. Nobody's taking anybody's playing time. It's who's going to earn it. Yeah. And so I think finally in the last week or so, our practice have become more competitive. In games, they're supporting each other. The ball's moving better. Defensively, they're talking a little bit more. We still got a long ways to go, but you can see the progress that they're making. And we still got 2 months before the playoffs. So like I'm so excited, man. Yusuf Gray is a junior, that's senior son. The other night, Tuesday, what he wind up with 25, 13 and like 4 assists or something, But then last night, he got in foul trouble and was in and out of the bench. But what I was proud of was that he stayed with it, and on the bench, he was clapping for his teammates. And, and then come second half, he went out there and controlled the game. He picked up his 4th foul, probably about 12 minutes left, I brought him out and he sat down and you could just see him like, and I'm like, you're not sitting here and, I'm not going to wait until 2-3 minutes to put you back in the game. If we get an offensive possession, I want you to get your mind, get your head right. You're going back in about the 9-10 minute mark. All right. And if we get an offensive possession, I'm putting you in and you're going to go for 2 or 3 minutes. And then I'm going to pull you. You get, I don't want you to get tired because that's when you're going to make a dumb mistake. So I'm going to pull you after a couple minutes, but that way you can keep your rhythm. Yeah. And so he was able to, go into the game and like I said, he controlled the rest of the game,
Yeah,
And so and as a freshman, for that maturity, I was like, holy cow, man, this kid's special.
man, listen, you already know, Coach. Before I moved to Arizona, I was there trying to get my son to go there.
Yep.
But I see the talent.
Yeah.
I told you, I don't know if you remember, Coach. I remember being in the gym like, oh yeah, Coach.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
People, yeah, they gonna see, they gonna know about West Allis Central. If they don't know now,
Yep.
oh, they gonna know. So,
Well, and
man,
there's a nice 8th grade class coming in too. So
come on, Coach. Come on, man. Send me them links, man, so I can watch
all
all
right.
that.
Yeah, I'll get it out there. I'll get it to you.
Mhm. Yep. So just a couple more things before I let you go, Coach. Uh, First, I want to start off by thank you for taking the time out, coming to the Barcode podcast. This means a lot to me. I always sit up talking about sports, and now I'm doing it with, everyone's story that I wanted to hear about, you know what I'm saying, and want to know about, So, and I learned so much, about you today, as far as being a coach and what got you into coaching, and even you, playing basketball. So I appreciate you taking the time coming to the Barcode podcast. You my home dog. You already know if I was still in Milwaukee, I'll be on that staff, man.
I guess you would. Yes, you would. I wish you were, man.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
you got your own thing going here.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm gonna name 10 players. I'm gonna pair them up, and you just pick. All right.
Yeah.
You know how it is, Coach.
Yep. All right.
With your own boys, man.
All right.
It's all just, oh man, no, give me.
Hey, but nobody can get mad at me. No.
Yeah, no. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go John Stockton or Steve Nash.
I'm going Nash.
Ooh, that ain't bad though, Coach.
Nope. I'm going Nash. Nash just had a little bit I don't know, a little bit flair to his game that I like.
Yeah, exactly. All right, next. Now everyone always, this is controversial forever. Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant?
Well, it's easy for me.
Yeah.
All right, and I'm going MJ. I mean, that was my, that is my era, man. Like watching him play. And I didn't like Kobe really until his later years, and then like I didn't realize his toughness and his competitiveness that he had. I just thought he was a guy that just went out, but then you start reading all this stuff, seeing all this stuff, like, and so I have gained so much appreciation for Kobe. I put him right before I would. You asked me 10 years ago, I'd have said not even close, and then it's like Kobe is right there, but MJ is my guy.
Yeah. Everybody love Jordan, baby.
Yep.
All right. Magic Johnson or LeBron James?
Damn. I'm gonna go Magic. Again, that's my era. You know what I mean? And it just, I don't know. Do you mind me giving reasons why?
Yeah. Hey, just
Because
look
it's
at
tough,
like
man.
this, Coach. If your players watch this, they're gonna be like, Coach, you picking Magic Johnson over LeBron James?
I'm not saying he's better.
Yeah.
LeBron's better. I'm just saying, for me, Magic was a competitor, man. And I'm not saying LeBron's not, but I just take a look at Magic. Didn't want to freaking lose. Magic hated losing. Did he ever have a losing season? Magic?
Ooh, I don't.
You know what I
I
mean?
don't know, Coach. I don't know. Dude really ran the NBA.
Yeah. And so, hey, if you needed 43 in one game and him play center, you go get 40 and, whatever. If you needed him get 20 assists, you get that. And so, to me, that, I don't know. I love people that just find ways to win.
Yeah.
And, LeBron is, to me, I'll say the greatest, the GOAT is Michael Jordan. But the best, and this is weird to say, I don't even know if it makes sense, but the best player, like if I had to do a draft, LeBron would be the number one pick.
Yeah.
because he's got the most talent, the most skill, but I just don't think like that man, to me, I think he should be averaging a triple double. If you take if he played with that energy and effort all the time. And so, um, like I said, LeBron is probably the best player just because, I mean, if you need a bucket, he get you one. If you need, he can guard it. He has so many intangibles. I don't know if he plays hard
Yeah,
like,
yeah, that's the thing right there.
and so it's weird. Like I said, go to the next one. I could go on with that forever, man.
Okay. Kevin Garnett or Tim Duncan?
KG.
That's why I love you, coach.
KG, man. That's an easy one. I mean, Tim Duncan's Mr. Fundamental. He's a winner, but
Yeah.
KG had that attitude.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Shaquille O'Neal or Luau Cinder?
I'm going Shaq.
Shaq couldn't shoot a 15-footer three, and he was still scoring 40, 50s, getting double team, triple team. Yeah.
No, I need to. You don't see a guy like that, man. Like, I don't know, and just his fun-loving attitude. Like, I think he'd be a great teammate.
Yeah.
I look at Shaq, like Kareem. He was a tough one. He's kind of off on his own a little bit, but Shaq just, I don't know. I just love
He was
Shaq.
different. Yeah, he was different. He was different. Thank you for that. I
Yep.
love doing that because I'm telling you, all your reactions be the same, coach. Like, oh shit. Oh man. You know what I'm saying? So last question though, coach.
Yep.
What advice can you give these kids out here, that student athletes moving forward in life?
Number one, man, I said it before, academics, take care of school and the daily work, I think they get caught up into too much of the wanting to be cool rather than just, like they don't think cool is sitting there paying attention, doing the work, getting those grades, and playing around too much. So if you want to be great at something, you got to put the time in. And I tell the kids all the time, like basketball, you want to be great at basketball? If you just want to make the varsity team, you probably don't have to work out. You might have to work out 1 hour a day. But if you want to be a starter on a team, you might have to put in 2 hours. If you want to be all conference, it's probably going to have to be 3 hours a day. If you want to be all state, 4 hours. If you want to be an all-American, like everything you do in life, if you want to be great at it, you're going to have to put time into it, and put the damn phone down and get to work. And it's the same thing with school. If you want a D, show up to class, do a little work. If you want a C, you're going to have to study a little bit. If you want a B or an A, you're going to have to do some homework at home. You're going to have to, put the extra time in. And so, like I said, push yourself to be great in anything you do.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think you look at anybody that's successful, I think that's their attitude is, I want to be the best. I don't want to just be average. I want to be the best. Now, everybody has different talent, so what is your best? Be your best. That's all you can do.
Yeah. Dang, that's cold, coach. Man, I appreciate you so much, man.
Hey, one last thing though, when you were talking about the kids, one of the big things that like coaching and being here, the one thing I really try to do is every one of these kids here, man, they're like my own kids. They really are. And I mean that wholeheartedly, man. And it's like, I care. You can ask my wife. I go home and whether I'm concerned or, worried about them, she knows that. And like, I carry that stuff home with me. Like, how is so-and-so doing? What do they have? Do they need anything? And so treating them like your own kid is the number one thing. And I do that as a teacher too. Every student I have in the classroom, I treat them like my own kid. If I'm going to be tough on them, I'm going to be tough, and it's tough for a reason.
Yeah.
And so that's why I try to let them know when I talk to them, I'm not getting on you because I don't like you. I'm getting on you because I care about you.
Yep.
And that's a big thing for kids. that they don't understand. They think when somebody's getting on them, they're putting them down negative, and it's like, no, they care about you. That's why they want you to be the best. So
Yeah, and
I'm
man,
sorry for cutting you off, man.
no, you
I
ain't
could talk forever, Q.
Yeah, I know you can, Coach. I can too. I appreciate that so much, Coach. And I ask you that, man, because like I said, I know you're a wonderful guy, man.
Appreciate it, man.
I know you care.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And this no knock to nobody else. But the things that you're doing in the relationship that me and you kept after basketball, I wish that I had, well, I'm pretty sure that other kids wish that they have that, man. Because
Yeah.
don't have no one to talk to, man. They revert to
No.
the streets. They
Yep.
do that stuff, man. So that's why I'm glad you on here. I'm glad you came to the Barcode podcast for real, Coach.
I appreciate you inviting me, man. That is awesome.
Now, Coach, you got a chance to coach your kids while at West Allis Central. Like, how was that coaching your kids?
I tell you what, it was one of the best experiences I've ever had, man. People always like worry, hey, you don't want to coach your kid, you got this, and that. I never worried about that because, like I said before, these kids on the team, I treated them like they're all my kids, and so I didn't treat them any differently. And to me, it was probably the best experience I ever had. Being able a chance to coach both of them, and actually both of them, I had two of them. The senior, I had the senior sophomore the year that we went to state. So in 2015. So to me, having them both up, having that experience, is probably one of the best things. Now, like, I still want that gold ball. So I haven't I still want to watch a video from up at state when we played Stevens Point. They were loaded, but because just having that experience, seeing them both, I don't know. It's hard to explain, Q, but to me, one of the special things was trying to turn off that dad coach relationship. And it was one thing that, that I probably didn't do the best job of being a dad at the time. But like I always said, I'm going to treat you like any other player. And I just felt like I had different moments. But I think my son, who's coaching with me now, David, he is probably one of the most mature young men that I ever coached, because his senior year, here he is, in high school, a senior, and he had a study hall, and he's like, hey, can I come be an aide for you during your class? And I was like, yeah. I was like, why wouldn't you want to be with another teacher? I didn't say it to him, but I was thinking, you see me at home, you see me. But he wanted to come in. He came in, and we would sit and talk basketball because I didn't have a class that hour. And so we would sit and talk basketball, and it's probably one of the things that I treasure the most as far as coaching, having him coming in and being able to do that. And then the other cool thing about the whole thing was, it's stuff that my mom and dad did. They would always have, players over, sleeping over. So that year we would have 7-8 kids sleeping over after games. And it was awesome. They'd be down in the basement. My wife would get up, cook for them, breakfast, and then we'd run to practice on a Saturday, and it just going back and having those memories, like it just, I wouldn't trade it for the world. I have people ask me all the time, how, should I coach my kid? And I'm like, hell yeah. You know what I mean? But there were some tough times too. You know what I mean? And one of my favorite moments, man, for 4 years, he didn't make, like, he would execute every play. He'd be in the right spot, doing the right thing. Not saying make every shot or do everything right, but he'd at least run a play right, And we're in a sectional final game against Marquette in 2015, and we come out at halftime, and I, took a timeout like 2 minutes in, and I drew up a play, and he goes running out there, man, and didn't run the play, man. I grabbed the kid so fast off the bench, man. I'm like, go get David. And he comes off the bench. I'm like, what the fuck you doing, man? And I get on him, man. And it was funny. We can laugh about it now, but that's what I mean. Like, I didn't treat him any differently. You know what I mean? If he's going to make a mistake out there. But the one beautiful thing was, like, I coached him since he was in 3rd grade, and he is coming to his sister's games. And so he heard me coaching even before that. He probably heard it since he was 2 years old. So, like, he knew, having a guy on the floor that knows exactly what you want like you couldn't beat it. And to me, that's why we had so much success, because of, what he did. And he was such a great leader with the other guys, and getting them to understand and helping them out with grades. And so it was probably one of the neatest experiences I had. And, it's something that I'll look back and appreciate that I did.
Exactly. Now, did he ever used to come back to you? And because I know back when I played, we used to be like, "Oh, dude, only playing because his dad, the coach." Like, did he ever come back to you saying that guys was picking with him, or
No,
like,
not the guys, but he did come back, and it messed with his confidence. I mean, shit, one time we had Q, it was so messed up, man. We had a parent, like, if he missed a shot, they'd be clapping. They'd be clapping, a parent on our team. Like, it was messed up. My wife was about to say something, my my daughter, and I was like, just, hey, man, they don't know any better. Just leave it alone. And I thought my son was, I mean, he handled it great. He never let it affect him, but it did affect him inside. And he did come back and share that one time, like, and it's crazy, man, and, I mean, like, all the little things that he did, and knocking down shots, and just, like I said, every coach wants a leader out there that knows what the coach wants.
Yeah,
Had that, and he could play, he could do stuff. And so it's when you do coach your own kid, they're going to go through that. And that's where I wish I would have done some things different. Yeah. And all it is talk to him more, where I think I talk to the other kids more, maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
And you still got to be a dad, and that's a one thing. It's the hardest thing in the world. And I don't think there's one solution, because every kid's different too. I couldn't be like, this is how I would do it. It might be different for another, coach and son playing, so there's no right solution to any problem, man. It's just handling it as it goes.
As it goes, yeah. But man, yeah, my hat goes off to you, man, coaching your boys, man. And, because that can be difficult, but you made it work, coach.
No, like I said, at the end of the day, hey, you only get so much time with them. They get out of college, or they get out of high school, they're gone. They're out of the house, they're moving on, they're doing their own thing. And so, to me, if you get a chance, do it. I would never tell. I would tell every parent, take advantage of it. If you get that opportunity.
Yeah, for sure, coach. On y'all season, and I know y'all gonna do well. I know me and you gonna stay in contact. When I come back, I'm gonna visit you, man. And like, thank you so much, coach. Q Bar out.
All right, Q, love you, man.
I love you too, coach, man.
Yep.